Tom, good morning to you. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has. And before we get to that, I got a baseball stat for you.
Let's take it.
In the Cape Atlantic League, 10 teams have won South Jersey championships in the last 4 years. To get the previous 10, you got to go back 28 more years.
Wow. So the golden era of Cal baseball is upon us, is what you're saying.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. There's never been success, at least in NJSIA play, for Cape Atlantic League baseball teams like there has been in the last 4 or 5 years. I don't know if this is Mike Trout's influence, but it did happen, begin to happen right around the time he left.
And before we get into the Schoppy Awards talk, too, I mean, let me ask you, we've talked about these local baseball players being drafted, and again, there's no Trouts this year, there's no Joe Gattos, but to have 4 Cal guys with Cal ties go on the same day, that's a pretty neat story, too.
Absolutely, and I think that, that's indicative. Those are guys that contributed, maybe not to championships for their specific team, but they contributed to the level of baseball that's being played in the Cape Atlantic League now.
All right, so let's get into what I really wanted to talk about, and that's the Schoppy Awards. Tell the listening audience a little bit about the awards. I know it's coming up on Monday night, and we'll get into some of the choices in a bit here, but how did this come about, and what does it really celebrate?
Well, the Schoppy Awards originated as the Flagship Awards, and Jason Kay, whose family owns the Flagship down in the Inlet in Atlantic City, wanted to do this, and they did it for a number of years. And the last 3 or 4 years, Dave Tallarico and the people at Schoppy's took over, and it recognizes there's 12 finalists, 12 boys and 12 girls, and it recognizes the outstanding athletes, male and female, in the graduating class. This is the 15th year that we've done it, and some of the names of Mike Trout's one, of course, and Matt Caesar of Lower Cape May, who's bouncing back and forth with the Chicago Cubs, and Austin Johnson, who's playing up at Penn State right now, and Chad Severs, whom you're familiar with, the all-time great soccer scorer when he graduated from Ocean City High School, and Renee Tomlin, who was an All-American at Georgetown and is now a great triathlete. There's a lot of people when you look back through the list. Excuse me, Monica Johnson, of course, the all-time scorer in girls basketball. Tara Booker, who went on to score 1,000 points in college. So what we do is we select the 12 finalists, and then members of the media, like yourself, then vote. And we have a little bit of a point system this year, or have every year, where you pick your top 5, and the number 1 choice gets so many points, and so on down the line. But this year we added another wrinkle to it.
Yeah, tell us about that wrinkle. And, the voting is obviously closed now, but for people that checked out our website, 973 ESPN over the last couple of days, or maybe going back about a week or so, those people had a chance to sort of cast their vote, which then turns into one giant vote for the Schoppys, right? Yes.
What we did was we created, in addition to Mike Frankel and Mike Gill and the other people, Tony Blum and so forth, Brian Kniff, who vote, and their vote is put into this point system. We decided to let the listeners as well as the visitors to 973ESPN.com have a chance to vote too. And what we do, we're going to count the result of that poll, of that voting, as another person casting their vote. So the top 5 in the boys and the top 5 in the girls, each will receive points toward the selection of the winner of the Schoppy Award.
I know we can't reveal the winner overall. Can we reveal the winner of that particular vote on our website?
Well, it's pretty hard not to, because
it was up.
Yeah, and Olivia Rulon of Wildwood Catholic got the most votes among listeners and visitors to the website, and Trevor Little of Oakcrest got the most among the boys. And there's, as we said, the top 5 will all get points toward the point system. So they're obviously not only successful athletes because they got into the top 12, but popular athletes too.
Absolutely. Let's run through the rest of the choices, Tom. Obviously, each of them very worthy of consideration, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and hope you have the list in front of you because I don't have it in front of me. But who are some of the other choices here? And we can start on the boys' side or the girls' side, whichever you prefer. But we're talking about athletes that don't just excel in one sport, they excel in 2 or 3 sports.
Usually, though there are athletes, we mentioned Chad Severs before, we mentioned Tara Booker, athletes who have only played one sport that have won this, and then there's other athletes that have been terrifically versatile athletes. So the nominees are different in that sense, and the winners through the years have been different in that sense. The boys, the 12 boys, and you'll notice a definite St. Joseph strength. And I guess with what they've accomplished, not only in football and some other sports as well, that's not a surprise. But the finalists in the boys are Stefan Bowman of Bridgeton, Jaquan Hargroves of Pleasantville, C.J. Lafragola of St. Joe's, David Hicks of Middle Township, Trevor Little, we mentioned earlier, from Oakcrest, Matt McLaughlin of Mainland, B.J. Mitchell of St. Joseph, Rocco Ordilli of St. Joseph, Jordan Taylor of Holy Spirit, Val Vadino of St. Joseph, Jim Versage of Middle Township, and Nazir Williams of Bridgeton. It's a pretty talented group of people, and they come from all different sports. It's not a sport that's covered much on the radio and so forth, but one of the people I just want to refer to for all the golfers out there is David Hicks of Middle Township, who also played soccer and was successful in that sport. But this guy has won the Cape Atlantic Championship 3 times in golf, the South Jersey Central Championship 3 times, and when he won the South Jersey Central this year, he shot 11 pars and 7 birdies in his 18 holes. So all of the weekend golfers out there cringing at success. He didn't just win. He blew it away with a 64.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's an outstanding list, Tom, and a variety. Some names there certainly jump out. A guy like Nazir Williams, we talked about a lot during football season.
Right.
A scholarship to UConn, but it's an interesting mix of guys in that. Sure, you have the standouts, the guys that are going on to play Division I sports, but you also have some guys in there that, starters, multiple different sports. I'm thinking about a guy like a Matt McLaughlin of Mainland. I don't know if he's going to have the chance to play college sports anywhere, but boy, what a high school athlete. And you go across the board, football, basketball, baseball, just a key contributor for Mainland, and there's a few of those guys on that list.
Yeah, C.J. Lafragola of St. Joe's, was a very important part of their football program. He was a shortstop on their successful baseball team, and he was, I think, second in the state in his weight class in wrestling. So he's a 3-sport athlete. Trevor Little of Oakcrest is a 3-sport athlete. Rocco Ordilli of St. Joe's is a 3-sport athlete. When you stop and think about what it takes to play 3 sports, just to play 3 sports, and then you put on top of it all the academic requirements, and I'm sure some other requirements in their lives, it's really a heck of a schedule.
It really is. All right, let's round up the choices on the girls' side, too. Obviously, a lot of great choices there. Each one of them great in their own right. Yeah,
and the girls are weighted a little bit toward 2 schools, Lower Cape May and Ocean City this year. The girls, Lynn Brown of Buna, Dana Dorenzo of St. Joseph, Maddie Gibson of Lower Cape May, Devin Grisbaum of Ocean City, Lauren Holden of Lower Cape May, Ariel McGee of Lower Cape May, Lauren McNally of Ocean City, Taylor Fye of Oakcrest, Olivia Rulon of Wildwood Catholic, Eva Sodatis of Absegami, Rachel Stremme of Ocean City, and Casey Thomas of Cedar Creek.
So you're spanning a number of sports there, too. I heard girls who played field hockey, soccer. I think there's some crew in there. So really almost every sport is involved.
That's exactly right. It's very much the same on both the boys and the girls' side. And we'll present the awards to the 12 or as many of them that can get there. It's always difficult this time of year because some schools have already graduated, some kids are working. There's occasion. I think Mainland is having their own awards ceremony on Monday, so they'll either not get there or have to get there and leave quick. There's always conflicts, but we hope as many of them can get there as possible. And we will present awards to each of the 12, and then at the end of it, we will have the winners announced, and they'll join Mike Gill, who's going to do his show from the Music Pier in Ocean City on Monday, and they'll join him for the last segment of that show and talk about their high school careers and what their plans are.
So what time does the actual event run through? Is it open to the public? Can people go out and check this out?
Sure. It's 4 to 6 is the total time we're going to be there. We'll probably start presenting some things around 5 or 10 minutes of 5 and finish sometime around 5:30, because in addition to these awards, we're presenting awards and T-shirts with the All-Star Saturday logo and the roster of the team on the back to each of the players who played in the basketball All-Star game, and we have some MVP awards from those games. We also have the Ed Burns Award to the all-sports champion, the school with the most championships in all sports, and we have the something we started last year, the Frank Campo Humanitarian Award, which goes to a varsity athlete for what they did off the field, and also the Tony Cerezo Award, which goes to St. Joseph because they were the highest-ranked Cape Atlantic League team in football. Though, I don't know, I guess we'll still do that, but it'll be the highest-ranked Cape Atlantic school in the West Jersey Conference in the future.
Yeah, I want to get into that in just a second here, but just to put a bow on this, again, Schoppy Awards coming up on Monday night. Go and check them out, and you can find out the winner of the 2015 Schoppy Awards on both the boys and the girls side. As Tom said, it's in Ocean City on Monday afternoon, and again, Mike Gill will be doing a live broadcast of the Sports Bash from Ocean City. Again, Tom Williams, our guest right now, primeevents.net, and Tom, you segued perfectly there because I wanted to get your take on this merger. It's obviously been the big topic all morning long. We did a ton of talk about it off the top. We just did a little more in the last 20 minutes or so. But what's your take on it? You've been following football in the Cape Atlantic League in South Jersey for a long time. What's your initial take on the merger?
Well, I'm not crazy about the fact that in 2016, for the first time since something like 1948, there won't be a Cape Atlantic League football champion. I think that you like to maintain that history, and I understand that there's football coaches that they get upset about some of the balance and some of the competitiveness, and it's more so in North Jersey even than it is in South Jersey, and it was difficult to satisfy everybody, and I just wish that wasn't the goal, to satisfy everybody, that they just pretty much went with football like they did with every other sport and just go by enrollment. But it just didn't work out, and for whatever reason, they think it's going to work out better in the West Jersey Conference. I will say this: there's still a vote coming up in December about this non-public league that would include all the non-public schools in the state into a league by themselves. I don't know if this is going to affect that, the fact that the Cape Atlantic League is merged into the West Jersey Conference. But I did read something about a quote from somebody from the West Jersey Conference saying that it's just not, this concept is just not fair because South Jersey non-public schools would have to travel to Bergen County to play football games, and that's just not true. If they do go ahead with this non-public league, if you take a look at it, and you took St. Augustine, St. Joe's, and Holy Spirit, and you've also got Paul VI, Bishop Eustace, Gloucester Catholic, and Camden Catholic, you could have a division right there, and nobody's going to have to travel that far. Whether that's the way they would try to work it out or not, or whether that'll even pass, who knows. But I'm, in general, just not that happy about the public schools, whether they're in North Jersey or South Jersey, that are trying to generate legislation against the non-public schools. There's another item up for vote in December that would make it more difficult for a student to transfer from a what they call a closed school, which means it's a public school, it doesn't have choice, to transfer from there to a non-public. You get a bigger penalty, you have to sit out longer, and you have to miss the state tournament. Just trying to stop people from exerting their option to go to a non-public school, and I don't like that, and I don't think the one part of it would ever hold up, because Governor Christie's big thing with education is this choice situation, and if they're going to set up in the NJSIA a system where you get penalized more for transferring to a choice school, I don't think the Department of Education would let them do that. So I think they'd have a problem there. But it's going to happen. I hope that, as they said they will, the West Jersey will group the Cape Atlantic League teams into the same divisions as much as possible. And it does open up some things like Cumberland could get back to playing Millville and Vineland, and Wildwood could play a Lower Cape May and Middle Township, and things like that are good. And St. Joe and Hamilton might be able to play again. But all in all, I like the idea of having a Cape Atlantic League champion, and we can just hope that when they group them, the Cape Atlantic League schools, for the most part, will be together, and you can have something like it anyway.
We'll get you out of here on this time as we sort of put a bow on the high school sports year as a whole, from fall to winter to spring. Maybe 2 or 3 storylines, and I know this is a tough question. You're talking about a lot of sports, a lot of seasons, but what are some of your major takeaways from this past school year in terms of high school sports? Anything really jump out to you as, and we mentioned the stat off the top about baseball. Maybe that's one of them, all the terrific baseball sectional champions over this year and the last couple of years.
Well, I think the first thing is, and it started the whole school year as far as our broadcasts were concerned. In fact, I think the first broadcast was before most schools were in session, was the opportunity for Holy Spirit and St. Joe's to go play outside the state. And they're both going to do it again this year. Holy Spirit's going to host Malvern Prep, and St. Joe's is going down to Maryland to play a team. So I think that was an interesting part of the story. Of course, St. Joe's being the number 1 team in South Jersey, and from the beginning of the season to the end of the season is a great story. And there's always great basketball stories. Lauren Holden with a tremendous season, a tremendous career, the second greatest scorer in history behind Monica Johnson. But I got to think that the number 1 story of the Cape Atlantic League season is Holy Spirit's baseball team. They put it together. This has happened. We talked about a basketball team from Burlington Township years ago that finished the season as a state Group 1 champion, and they were like 12-15 because their regular season consisted of playing against Willingboro and Holy Cross and all the big schools, Rancocas Valley in Burlington County, and they got beat up, but they were the best team in the state in Group 1. Well, this Holy Spirit team, it's a little different in baseball because your pitching rotation and your pitching depth is a big factor, but they played against good teams like Mainland, St. Augusta, and Ocean City during the season. I think lost 5 of those 6 games, but yet it got them ready, and they played when they had to and won the games when they had to, and they win a state title with a losing record overall for the season. But it just shows you how valuable that state tournament is, and dividing those teams according to enrollment, and I think that was a fabulous way to end the school year.
All right, Tom Williams, primeevents.net. Tom, really appreciate your insight from the fall and winter, and now certainly in the spring as well, as we, again, put a bow on this school year, this school seasons, and it all coming to an end. Tom, enjoy your summer, and we'll enjoy the Schoppy Awards on Monday night as we find out who the 2015 winners are.
Great. I look forward to seeing you, Mike.
All right, Tom. Tom Williams, primeevents.net. We'll take our last